Coral Punchestown Gold Cup. I'm joined by David Mullins, who had a fantastic day last year here on his mount again, Bells Hill.
Yeah, last year was brilliant. He done everything right, and we got to know him after the Irish National when he tried to run out. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can do the same thing again.
You've had a good record with this horse, but today in the National he gave a bit of a jink at the last and probably cost himself the race. Is there a kink in his character?
Oh, there's definitely a kink. I thought I had loads left. I thought he would have won that day. I thought he had loads left, and he just gets idle when he's left on his own, and that's what happened. So he got back here anyway, and he done that well.
And you say you've learned from him, so did you ride him slightly differently here?
Yeah, definitely, and he went to do it again after the last. I thought I had Jack Adam well beat between the last two. I thought he was going to pull well clear of him. Just as I got stuck into him, I felt his two ears wandering, and he got a few reminders for it, and he just held on.
You're a huge cog in the Willie Mullins team. Willie's fiercely strong-handed in this race. He's got the three favourites, but you've won Grade 1s on all three, amazingly, including Kemboy and the Gold Cup winner Alboom Photo. So you know your opposition fairly well today. Yeah, I do. Bells Hill, I thought he would have been my first pick for the Gold Cup this year, and things didn't go to plan. He just can be a bit tricky. He's got a lot of ability. I think probably Shade's ability why he's a bit more over the other two, in my opinion, but just can be a bit tricky. The other two like to get on with things, and they put their heart in the line. Good. Well, best of luck, and I'm sure you can mastermind it again. Hopefully. Thanks. Thank you.
Yes, I have Tamzo Doyle beside me now, and we've got a wonderful occasion on the 17th of May at Leopardstown. It's the third of those ladies' evenings that you've been organising, Tamzo, and this one is particularly special because not only have you a new sponsor, but it's going to be the most valuable ladies' race ever.
I know, it's all about the ladies, which is marvellous, and we have the path has been paved by the likes of wonderful Katie and Nina, and now we have Rachel Blackmore and Katie O'Farrell riding. So Microsoft have come on board. They're a wonderful neighbour of Leopardstown. They've got 2,000 people in their building right beside Leopardstown, which is a wonderful partnership. So they've taken on board this wonderful race, so it will be called the Microsoft Cup. It'll be the richest ladies race in Europe. Hopefully there'll be some French riders coming as well. There's one of the French champion, actually. She's Michaela's coming over, which will be great, and maybe Megan Nichols, I think, is bringing over a few too. So I think they're getting snapped up to ride in the race now. Everyone's been ringing HRI looking for all the details on the race.
And it's worth €50,000, but that's not just what's happening on the evening. There's much more going on than just on the racetrack, isn't it?
That's right. It's a new race day for Leopardstown, actually. It's on a Friday, and Pat Keogh, the manager of Leopardstown, had come to me to say, listen, let's come up with a really good plan for the ladies. So instead of doing best dress, we sort of went down a different route, and that's why this race fits in so beautifully, because it's an empowering and inspiring race day. We have speakers. We've had Jessie Harrington speak before, Marie O'Brien, and we have Chanel McCoy this year, and they really do give wonderful insight into their lives. And so this year, we've sold out actually on a number of the corporate packages already, which is quite amazing in year 3. So it's hopefully a fun evening in Dublin on a Friday night.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And I know Maya Dunphy's involved as well, all sorts of other people. So looking forward. It's 17th of May, and great idea.
Yes, so do come along and support the ladies, please. It would be wonderful. We'd love to have a great crowd there.
Brilliant, Tamzo. Thanks a million. Thank you.
Richard Johnson joins me ahead of riding Go Another One for John McConnell in this. But congratulations, firstly, Dickie, on 4-time champion jockey in the UK. It must be a great honour.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. Obviously a great day at Sandown last Saturday, and nice to come over here now this week for a bit more of the highlights from Punchestown. Yeah, we're also delighted to have you here at Punchestown. Go Another One, he's got a little squeak in this. Yeah, I won him last week at Perth. Obviously, it's a Grade 1 today. It's a better race, but he's been very consistent all year, and hopefully he still comes here with put on a good show. And before we let you go, we'll have to mention Deputy Saw. He's a very exciting ride ahead tomorrow. Yeah, he's definitely the main one we come over for, and obviously he was very impressive in Cheltenham, I thought, and obviously Barry, unfortunately his injury is sort of my good luck, and obviously get to ride him tomorrow. But I'd like to think coming back to 2 miles is probably a slight worry, but hopefully if they have a bit more rain tonight, that would be in his favour tomorrow. It looks a fiercely hot contest. Yeah, a very, very hot race. Obviously the horse that won the Arthur in Cheltenham, he was very impressive with Willie's, and I think there's 4 previous Grade 1 winners in the race, so a very, very hot race. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Richard Johnson, a consummate professional and a gentleman, both on and out of the saddle. Richard Johnson, of course, now 4-time champion jockey. The bandwagon moves on. We move on to our first of the Grade 1s, the Irish Daily Mirror Novice Hurdle. Who'll forget last year's race? Next destination, getting the better of Delta Work, and we saw Delta Work absolutely sublime yesterday, of course, over the larger obstacles, and as low as 10-1 for next year's Gold Cup. Quality contest, €100,000 in total prize money, and yielding to soft ground, although the sun continues to beat down here at Punchestown. Due off at 5:30, Allaho in the Cheveley Park stud colours. Ruby Walsh rides. This is very much a renewal of the Albert Bartlett form at the Cheltenham Festival. 2, Cap York, Dennis O'Regan. 3, carefully selected, Willie Mullins. 4, Castlebawn West is the amount of Danny Mullins. Paul Townend, of course, is on carefully selected. Jack Kennedy on Commander of Fleet, number 5. Deafy Blows, number 6. Davy Russell. Sean Flanagan is aboard First Approach, number 7. The 8, Castle Gallant John Joe is an absentee. Number 10. We have number 9, I should say. Go Another One, Richard Johnson. 10, Minella Indo. Rachel Blackmore for Henry de Bromhead. 11, we've Schoolboy Hours, Mark Walsh. 12, Walk Away, Robbie Power. And 13, Salsaretta, David Mullins. 12 go to post for the Irish Daily Mirror Novice Hurdle. Gallant John Joe, your absentee.
Oh, it's a proper race. It's over 3 miles, and it is a repetition of the Albert Bartlett. The 1, 2, 3 are all meeting here again. I mean, what an Albert Bartlett it was. 50-1 about this winner, Minella Indo. Didn't half win it. Who wins today, though? First of all, just talk us through this.
Well, Rachel was up in the bandwagon the whole way. They went to solid gallop, and probably in running, people didn't think she'd get home. But she did, and I don't see any big reason why Allaho, who's going backwards there in third, will switch around, reverse the form with the winner. Commander of Fleet, he's a very good horse. I can see why he could do it. He's not far off her there, and he's finishing forward at the line. But Minella Indo deserves to be favoured. If you win the Albert Bartlett, you have the strongest bit of form. One thing to note, no Albert Bartlett winner has come here to win the equivalent. That's the only worry.
Does that make a difference?
It's also all those things. I mean, if you want to look at things like that, but every day is a fresh day. I agree with Jane there. There's no reason why he should turn placings, but you never know. The other horse beat him in Clonmel in the hurl race when they ran in Clonmel. Different track, Cheltenham, Punchestown, right-handed, easier track. You never know what happens in different places. Horses have been away. Some horses have come back well. Some horses melted from a trip. I think a horse that has a chance is carefully selected as well too. Struggled to win a maiden at Limerick, but he was second here or third in the big champion bumper last year, and just sourced off at Cheltenham in the champion bumper. I think he'd be a better bumper horse than any of them.
We can have a look at Commander of Fleet first, because there's plenty of money for Commander of Fleet. He's a proper good horse as well. We saw him finishing second there. He's won, 2 of his 4 starts over hurdles, and he's certainly a chaser in the making. Lovely looking horse as well, and I'd take plenty of beating.
Allaho is by far the biggest horse in the lineup, and as we saw from our VT there, he was a 9 lengths third to Minella Indo and Commander of Fleet in the Albert Bartlett. He's a lot to find. Who knows? He might improve.
Horse 10 is Minella Indo, horse we've just seen there win the Albert Bartlett, but before that he got beat by Allaho down at Clonmel, and he was beaten before that at Limerick. His run at Cheltenham was definitely better than anything he'd done before. Now he could be on an upward curve, or it could be a major flash in the pan. This race will tell us.
Carefully selected is on an upward curve as well. Now, he's only had the 1 run this season, and that was in a maiden hurdle at Limerick, and he won it well. Won it by 3/4 of length from Lord Snitshaw. But when you go back over his form, you know, he's running in bumpers last season, and he was a runner-up to relegate in the big one at Cheltenham. So he's a proper horse. He looks like he's a quality sort as well. He's a 5-1 shot.
Deafy Bleu, one of the most gorgeous horses we've seen in the ring here. When we last saw him, he was a well-beaten third of 24 to early doors in the Martin Pipe conditional handicap hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival. He's going to have to improve on everything we've seen to date, but he looks a picture in the ring.
Horse 12 is Walk Away, Henry de Bromhead's runner here. This horse was very impressive when he won at Thurles. I was very impressed with him. He'd won a point before that, and he didn't run badly. I expected a bit more when he was 4th to champ at Liverpool, but I was hugely impressive when he won at Thurles. I think he just didn't see the real Walk Away at Liverpool.
Go another one we're going to have a look at next. Now, Richard Johnson has spoken about him. He's a remarkable horse in that in his last 9 runs, he hasn't been out of the first 2, but he's up in grade today. He's trained by John McConnell, who trained Pearl of the West yesterday to win, and he's got his chance of completing his hat-trick.
Castlebawn West, one of the more experienced horses in the lineup, the mount of Danny Mullins. He pulled up in the Ballymore, but bounced back to be a creditable fourth to Demange Pourtois in a Grade 2 at Fairyhouse 2 weeks ago. But on all known form, he's up against it here.
They're at the start for the 3 mile Grade 1 novice hurdle, and it's a fascinating betting market. Allaho marginally favoured, depending where you shop around 11 to 4, each of 2. You can get a little 3 to 1 Commander of Fleet, but they're both popular in the ring. The each way move of those, the horse Ted Walsh has been up, carefully selected, of course, picked by Katie Walsh as a youngster, real good bumper horse, 6 to 1, 11 to 2, 5 to 1, now into 4.5 to 1, carefully selected. And Minella Indo, 50 to 1 winner of the Albert Bartlett, 5 to 1, and easy to back Minella.
Well, no horse has ever completed the double of this race in the Albert Bartlett from the Cheltenham Festival. Minella Indo was the original favourite, taking a walk in the market here. You see there, number 10 on your race card, out to 5 to 1, not first, second or third in the betting. As you've already announced, Brian, carefully selected, third in the Grade 1 here 12 months ago, 1 from 1 over hurdles. This a step up, and yet 9 to 2 from 6 to 1 suggests he has an excellent chance. And the other mover, don't miss number 6, Deafy Blur, third in the Martin Pipe race at the Cheltenham Festival, 16 to 1. In now, only 12 to 1. Deafy Blur.
Yeah, Deafy Blur put up a decent performance in that Martin Pipe. It's interesting, Jane, what you say. Here's Richard. They're off and running.
They are off and running. We have 3 back-to-back Grade 1s, beginning with the Irish Daily Mirror Novice Hurdle Grade 1 contest over 3 miles. They begin at the beginning of the back straight, and Allaho goes straight into the lead, being followed by Minella Indo, who races in second spot. Cap York is third, and they're being followed, carefully selected, is down the inside. Commander of Fleets in the white cap, just behind the Schoolboy Days. The blue cap of Deafy Blue is next, and then the pink jacket of First Approach, being followed towards the inside by the stripes of Castlebawn. Yes, Salsa is next, then Walk Away, and last of all is Go Another One. A little bit awkward over the first was Cap York, just landed with his back end on it, but they quickly go across the back straight on towards flight number 2. Allaho leads Minella Indo, being followed in third spot by Cap York, and then Deafy Blue towards the inside of Commander of Fleet, and carefully selected. They're being followed just in behind by Schoolboy Hours is next. Behind these towards the inside is Castlebawn West. Salsaretta is next. They're being followed by Walk Away and Go Another One for the John McConnell team, who enjoyed a winner here yesterday. Brings up the rear under English champion Richard Johnson. So now they turn to make their way out of the back straight and on towards flights 3 and 4, and it is Allaho, who beat Minella Indo a couple of runs ago and was no match for him at Cheltenham in the Albert Bartlett last time. Minella Indo sits second for Rachel Blackmore. Ruby Walsh aboard Allaho, and they're being followed towards the outside by Cap York. Dennis O'Regan aboard. Deafy Blue is next, the mount of Davy Russell, then Commander of Fleet, the third of the 3 Jickenstowns. Jack Kennedy aboard, ran well second in the Albert Bartlett last time. Behind Minella Indo, they're being chased by Carefully Selected, who has some smart bumper form. He's beaten a neck by relegated Cheltenham, and he was third here in the Grade 1 behind Tornado Flyer. Very little hurdling experience. Then towards the outside is Schoolboy Hours, the mount of Mark Walsh. The JP McManus Silks have enjoyed 4 winners already. They're being chased in the centre by First Approach, Sean Flanagan for Noel Mead. Towards the back of the field, the stripes of Castlebawn West. Danny Mullins aboard for Willie, who's on 199 winners for the season. You'd imagine the 200 is inevitable. Salsaretta, the only mare in the field, is next. Then the black sleeves of Walk Away and Robert Power, and last of all is Go Another One. So they take the flight in the straight, flight number 5, and again just landing with his back end first a little. Over that one was Cap York, but it's Allaho who leads Ruby Walsh, Minella Indo, Rachel Blackmore, and third is Dennis O'Regan aboard Cap York. Then First Approach, and Commander of Fleet is out of it. Commander of Fleet has been pulled up quickly. Doesn't look to be too much amiss, but Jack Kennedy's not too happy. Watching him trotting out, he seems to be trotting out pretty sound, but for some reason Jack Kennedy has pulled him up. He's out of it. Thankfully, I can tell you from this point in time, and Deafy Blue's been pulled up quickly as well. About half furlong for the Jigginstown team. Deafy Blue pulled up as well. So 2 Jigginstown runners out of it. Jack Kennedy has dismounted. He's obviously felt something he didn't like as they make their way now into the top turn. 12 become 10. as they swing now right-handed and on towards flights 7 and 8, and out in front it's Allaho, Minella Indo being chased back in third by Cap York, the only remaining Jigginstown runner. First approach is on the inside of Schoolboy Hours is next. They're being followed by Castlebone West, carefully selected, just narrowly lost position on the inside of Salsaretta. They're being followed by Walk Away, and last of all is Go Another One. So continuing on down the hill towards flight number 8, as the 13 and all to be jumped, it's Allaho in the Cheveley Park Silks from in second spot, Minella Indo and Barry Maloney's Silks. Big half hour coming up for him. He is Monolly after this. They're being followed towards the outside by Cap York, who's next. Just behind them is First Approach in the Hunt Silks, just being followed by Schoolboy Hours. Salsaretta's just outside. Behind these, carefully selected is on the inside. Just behind this one towards the outside is Walk Away, and Go Another One is last of all. They turn into the back straight. They've 2 mile behind them and 1 ahead of them. Jane Mangan, where's your money?
Was getting a lovely lead off him. I'd be very surprised if the winner didn't come from the first 2 here.
Well, it is Allaho who leads Minella Indo. Great to see these Punchestown rematches. They've met each other twice. It's 1 apiece, and behind them in third is Cap York. First Approach is next as they go now towards the first of the 2 flights over the far side, and it is Allaho on the inside, Minella Indo. Cap York First Approach. Schoolboy Hours just gets a nudge after that flight to close the gap. Salsaretta is next, and they're being followed by Castlebone West. Walk Away, Go Another One, and carefully selected has shuffled back to last. It's Allaho from Minella Indo in second. Back in third, Cap York the outside. They're being followed by First Approach. Schoolboy Hours just behind this one on the outside. The pink jacket of the only mare in the field, that's Salsaretto. But now they begin now to make their way out of the back straight. Less than 5 to race. 3 flights ahead of them. Allaho leads, still travels very strongly in the hands of Ruby Walsh in second. Minella Indo just gets a slap down the neck to keep close. Then Cap York comes up pressure. Back behind this one is First Approach. Castlebone West is trying to improve with Salsaretta as they go to the first of the 2 flights down along the side of the track, and Allaho jumped it well. Minella Indo now has to go in pursuit. They're being chased by First Approach, trying to stay on again, carefully selected. They're being followed by Schoolboy Hours. Salsaretta is the outside as they go now towards the flight before the turn in. Allaho jumps off a little to his left, and now Minella Indo is second, carefully selected to come right back into it. Then First Approach, Walk Away from the back, is being followed by Castlebone West, but Allaho is going to lead them in. From in second spot, Minella Indo, carefully selected, galloping away well behind them and comes wide. They're being followed by First Approach and Go Another One from the back. Schoolboy Hours has dropped right out. They straighten up towards home. They've 1 to jump. Allaho the far side, near side, carefully selected, and in between them is Minella Indo. They go towards the final flight. Minella Indo comes through in the centre, carefully selected, the near side, far side. Allaho, final flight from Minella Indo, comes to it with the advantage from carefully selected. Allaho is third, back and forth is First Approach, and they race inside the closing stages. It's Minella Indo who's drawing 2, 3, 4 clear. It's Minella Indo who's going to back up his Cheltenham success. It's another grade 1 for Rachel Blackmore. It's her 90th of the season. Minella Indo beats Allaho. Back in third is carefully selected. First Approach is 4, and then in behind these was Go Another One. Castlebone West and Walk Away, and they were clear from Cap York and pulled up coming up the straight was Salsaretta, but this one goes to number 10 on your card. It is Minella Indo in the colours of Barry Maloney, who is a big half hour, as I say, coming up. He will be responsible, of course, in the next from Monolly, bred by the Lawlers, trained by Henry de Bromhead, ridden by Rachel Blackmore, the son of Beat Hello. Gets up.
What a race it was, and a second grade 1 for Rachel in this country. This horse is talented. He's also brave. He has come back at Allaho, and he's snatched it and gone away like a good horse.
Yeah, you think off the last bend that Allaho had his measure here. Ruby hasn't really gone for everything, but he doesn't find much more under pressure, and all of a sudden Minella Indo gets the better of him going to the last. Carefully selected is the big challenge here, and I thought he was sure to put in a bit more, but in fairness to the winner, pricks his out ears and goes away and wins well. Allaho runs on to be second. I thought he was well stuffed at that stage and carefully selected in third, but the winner has done it really well, Jane.
Done it really well. A huge season for Rachel Blackmore, and I think she's down with Andrew Mack to tell us all about it.
I am Rachel. I interviewed you at Fairy House last week after your first grade 1 winner. Didn't take you long to rack up number 2.
Yeah, unbelievable. He's very tough, this horse. You know, we went a proper good gallop there, and he picked up after the last. You know, he was very good.
Allaho got a lovely run around and seemed to settle well in front, but your filly can be keen, settling nicely today.
Yeah, settled lovely. Probably wasn't the same hustle and bustle. You know, Cheltenham hustle and bustle had him quite keen, but he settled lovely. And oh look, it's brilliant. The Maloney family are such good supporters of the game, so it's brilliant for them.
You're having an absolute dream season of it.
Oh, look, unbelievable. Just delighted. John Allen and Corky Curl always thought a lot of this horse, so I'm glad for them. He's doing so well.
Well done to yourself, and congratulations, Alan. This seems a lovely horse to be looking after.
Oh, this is unbelievable. Look after this horse is just incredible. To go to Cheltenham is just unbelievable.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Yes, well done to Rachel, well done to everybody concerned. And these people here, the Maloneys, and of course the man himself, the trainer, Henry de Bromhead. My God, first of all, Henry, congratulations. But Rachel was absolutely brilliant there, niggled him along the whole time, because I know you said before he's a bit of a chance for her.
Yeah, he is. She was brilliant on him, and we were worried about the pace, and then Ruby made it. So I thought our goose was cooked turning in, and our lad just stayed on really well. Yeah, and Rachel was brilliant on him. Yeah,
certainly something else
for these guys.
You must be absolutely thrilled. I mean, the jumping up and down. I mean, it was amazing. Tell me about it now.
We're just absolutely delighted. We knew he was a really good horse. We weren't surprised at Cheltenham, and we wanted him to prove to the rest of the world that it was no surprise, and I think he did today, and Rachel was amazing on him. Yeah. And all thanks to the sire here.
I know. He's pretty good, isn't he? Very special to have a winner like this here, and to just, as you said, prove how good he really is.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. This race course was a favourite place for our dad, who grew up in this area as well, so we love coming to Punchestown, and to win here is just as good as winning in Cheltenham. We're just absolutely delighted, and Rachel she's some jockey. She's unbelievable. She hung in there and she produced him just at the right time. She's something else. She's top class.
Really is. She's top class. Enjoy the celebration. Congratulations. Quick last word with you, Henry. A word on the big race. You've 2 runners in it. The Monolith, obviously, good chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Sub was 4th in it last year. Monolith was probably a little bit disappointing in the Ryanair, but he seems in good form, so we'll see.
Who knows? Yeah. Go and enjoy this one. Well done, Henry.
Well done, Henry, and well done, Minella Indo. A first Grade 1 win in England for Rachel, and this horse supplies the second Grade 1 win in Ireland here, and he is a serious horse. Anybody who backed him this morning will be absolutely amazed by his starting price of 5-1. They went for Allaho, and Jane, you said before the race you saw no reason why Allaho should beat this fella on what you saw at Cheltenham.
This horse had done nothing wrong between now and then that we knew about. Allaho, they changed the tactics, they tried to change things up to get a little bit more improvement, and they have absolutely done that. They have gained a lot of ground. He put up a massive performance, but this horse doesn't know when he's beaten. He stays really strong. Carefully selected, ran on from behind, but Allaho and himself, they said nice even fractions up front. He jumped superb. Rachel kept it simple, followed the leader the whole way, and just had a matter.
Isn't it extraordinary to break your maiden in Grade 1 company? Do you know, he was beaten in his maiden at Limerick, he was beaten at Clonmel, goes to Cheltenham 50-1, wins there, and he is the tops over 3 miles, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely. He can put himself down as the star-staying novice hurdler this season, and he's just so straightforward. We said about Honeysuckle in Fairyhouse, it's worth £10 to be tactically versatile, because Rachel can just slot him in whatever the pace they're going. She doesn't have to cover him up, she doesn't have to make the running or completely drop out. She can decide when she jumps off what pace they're going, where she wants to be, and she followed Ruby everywhere. It was a very straightforward ride from her perspective, and I'm sure she'll admit she won't ride an easier winner than him.
What about Commander of Fleet, though? Because this was a shame. Jack pulls him up as they pass the stands, and clearly something amiss, but what it is we don't know. We will bring it to you, and you can see there in the white cap there, jumps the flight, and then what does he do? Pulls him out there. There's something.
He always feels he's lost his action. He trotted away a sound, but I mean, there's no one better up than him. He figures he's wrong, and the other Jigginstown horse pulls up at the back here as well too. Both of them pulled up. The lads obviously realise ground a bit something, lose direction and pull him up. He jogged away sound enough, but that's the feel you get up on him. All of a sudden, they've lost direction. There's nothing you can do when you pull him up.
When you're driving a car and it feels like you might have a flat tyre, you don't keep driving to make sure you have a flat tyre, you know.
Well, we'll give you Jack's report in due course. Here's Brian.
Well, Robert, Punchestown 2019 is well and truly alive. It's buzzing here on Gold Cup Day, and the first of our Grade 1s, the Irish Daily Mirror Novice Hurdle, has gone the way of that outstanding rider, Rachel Blackmore. Aboard number 10 on your race card, Minella Indo, 2 lengths the margin of victory, 5-1 the odds of reward. Second, number 1, Allaho, the 11-4 market leader. Third was number 3, carefully selected at 9-2, but a fine performance from Minella Indo. Brian Gleeson, you have an observation to share here?
No, Minella Indo, of course, as Jane has alluded to, came from the point-to-point field. John Allen, really good supporter of point-to-point. He started won a point-to-point in Drumahan, and that was a real good performance from Minella Indo. 5-1 winner, 11-4 favourite Allaho, and carefully selected 9-2. Confirms the Albert Bartlett form, but punters didn't take the form literally, and they backed Allaho.
And a little bit of history has been made, because for the first time ever, a winner of the Albert Bartlett at the Cheltenham Festival has come on here and followed up in this race. So many congratulations to Connections, to Henry de Bromhead, and of course to Rachel Blackmore. Now, time for us to take a break, after which, to whet the appetite for the upcoming Gold Cup at 6:05, we'll be hearing from a modern-day giant of the weigh room, the Gold Cup winner at Cheltenham, Paul Townend.
It was a low. It was a proper low. I didn't understand it myself, even, to be honest, and it was a long night, and it was a daunting place to come in here the next day. I was daunted. I not a wink did I sleep. I remember driving into the yard the next morning. I was embarrassed to get out of the car into my friends and people I knew,
You couldn't have foreseen 12 months in advance what album photo would actually do to you.
No. And it probably made winning the Gold Cup a bit more special as well. I'd have been delighted if someone else was riding him that he'd won, but I'd also, realistically, I'd have been disgusted I wasn't on him myself, and made up for what I had done.